Tonight, Elon Musk backtracking. It's called the Big Beautiful Backtrack. He tweeted this out. He said, "I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far." He didn't say which one specifically that he regretted. We have some ideas. You want to read through them, Brian?
It says, "Without me, Trump would have lost the election." Not a good thing to say. Dems would control the House and Republicans would be down 51-49 in the Senate. Really not accurate, but you did put a lot of time in Pennsylvania, Elon. We know that.
He said this as well. "In light of the president's statements about the cancellation of my government contract, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately."
And that's been deleted. He also said, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT."
Now, these are our opinion of what he might want to walk back. We don't know what he wants to walk back.
That one was deleted, too.
Elon Musk, he issued an apology this morning. Has the president accepted the apology, or does he think it's too little too late?
The president acknowledged the statement that Elon put out this morning, and he is appreciative of it, and we are continuing to focus on the business of the American people.
The president also signed an executive order holding China accountable for its treatment of Hong Kong, and we will continue to stand strong. Joe Biden? Well, Joe Biden pretends to be tough on China, but the reality is that Joe Biden has helped China all along the way, obtaining most favored nation status in the World Trade Organization. And the Obama administration did nothing when Joe Biden was vice president to prevent the outsourcing of millions of jobs and manufacturing to that communist nation.
China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. We want to see China rise. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. They're not bad folks, but guess what? They're not a competition for us. A rising China can be a significant asset for the region and the world, and selfishly for the United States. We want China to grow. What are we worried about?
Steel mills fell, it just all crumbled. I'm third generation. I've worked at a steel mill for a year and a half, and now the steel mill ain't even there.
This is just the way of the world. China is an economic rival to the United States. It does export, it does manufacture, and yes, it takes American jobs.
We want to see China rise. China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. I mean, they're not bad folks. I believe then, and I'm even more convinced now, that a rising China is an incredibly positive development. China has made remarkable strides.
ABC News investigation this morning into Joe Biden's son Hunter and questions about money he made from foreign business dealings while his father was vice president.
And did Joe Biden allow it? We're talking about millions of dollars in at least 2 countries.
Did you talk about China or your deal with China?
No.
A 12-hour flight over?
No, of course not.
That never came up?
No.
Less than 2 weeks after that trip, BHR Partners was launched, a private equity firm funded in part by Chinese banks.
He has come forward and said it was a mistake on his part to be on the board. My son's business dealings were not anything with everybody that he's talking about.
What's your understanding of what your son was doing for an extraordinary amount of money?
I don't know what he was doing. I know he was on the board.
Hunter Biden holds an equity stake in a company that's taken over $1.5 billion in loans from the Chinese government. This is obviously an issue.
What they said is China would prefer Joe Biden.
China and Iran.
China and Iran want to see Donald Trump's defeat, and they're looking for ways to make that happen.
China's a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion. Growth of China is overwhelmingly in our interest, and there's much more to come.
When our nation was born in 1776, we were a nation of insurgents. Our founding fathers stood up to the most powerful empire in the world, declared their independence, and then somehow turned assertion into reality. They were a band of rebels who defeated the reigning incumbent of their era. But eventually, the insurgent becomes the incumbent. The underdog becomes the favorite. And the new incumbent starts to apologize for its own success instead of working even harder to create even more of it. And eventually, that incumbent gets unseated by a new insurgent on the other side of a different ocean. It's happening today. And if we don't change course, pretty soon we're going to become that incumbent that gets unseated by another backwater nation on the other side of a different ocean.
streets flooded with poison, killing millions. Enemies and tyrants on opposite sides of the globe laugh at us. Wars threaten us. The threat of nuclear annihilation, once forgotten, is now real again. America's weakness has become their strength. The global elitists who send your kids to war, who tell you a woman is a man and a man is a woman, who teach your children their country, their faith, their beliefs are a lie. They have corrupted every facet of American government, weaponized it against you. While they watch our cities burn and violent crime skyrocket, you and your families pay the price. Out of control inflation, an economy wrecked, a nation in decline.
The goal of the ruling party in this country is to convince us that we are divided. Why? So they can accumulate more power for themselves. We have obsessed so much over our diversity and our differences that we forgot all the ways we're really just the same as Americans, bound together by a common set of ideals that brought together a divided, diverse, headstrong group of people 250 years ago. And I believe deep in my bones that those ideals still exist. Personally, I think that's what many of us sensed when we rallied behind the cry to make America great again several years ago.
One man, one movement can change all that for us. Put America, the middle class, first, and put the globalists, the elitist, and the corrupt in their place. Bring back pride and the American dream to let the world know, don't mess with us. One man focused on the true owners of this great land. One movement focused on the true priorities. Make America great for us again.
This isn't just a political campaign. This is a cultural movement to create a new American dream for the next generation. To me, the American dream means you believe in merit. It means you believe the people who we elect to run the government are the ones who actually run the government, not a federal bureaucracy that grows like a national cancer that is now metastasizing to the private sector. It means that the best ideas win instead of getting censored. It means you don't have to choose between speaking your mind freely and putting food on the dinner table. It means you believe these ideals form the backbone of the greatest nation on earth, that the rest of the world still looks up to as its example, not the Soviet Union in the last century and not communist China in this one either. That is the new American dream. You see, that's the greatest thing our founding fathers actually invented. It wasn't a lightning rod. It wasn't a stove. It was a country that offered its citizens freedom of thought. The greatest invention that produced so many others that followed. That's the invention we risk losing in a country that focuses on suppressing dissent. E pluribus unum. From many, one. That is the dream that won the American Revolution. That is the dream that reunited us after the Civil War. That is the dream that won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is the dream that still gives hope to the free world today. And if we can revive that dream over fractious group identity, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will need to revive to save this great nation.